Thanks for tuning in to Koppen with Comic. I'm Brian Koppen. We're with comic Erica Switzer. Erica Switzer, how the hell are you?
Pretty damn good, Brian. How are you?
I set the tone with how the hell are you? You say pretty damn good. I think you understood the assignment.
Awesome.
Okay, well, we follow Erica Switzer everywhere. It's so funny because on Twitter, though, this is so funny. I was like, I follow Erica Switzer. Why am I not seeing her on search? It's because the Erica Switzer, which is the Twitter handle, is currently named Steezy Jefferson.
That's
I love that. But also, yeah, Erica Switzer on Instagram. Erica Switzer has a link tree, which is full of her comedy content. So that's great. And then Erica Switzer's so big on YouTube that if you type in youtube.com/C/C Erica Switzer, it's like it doesn't have one of those like long ass YouTube things. I mean, you have so many subscribers that you got your own personal neck of the woods on YouTube, don't you?
Thank goodness. I just need 500 more subscribers and we'll be talking about that YouTube money.
Oh yeah, so you need 1,000 to start getting paid?
Yeah, that's a stretch, but it's
fuck that. I think people are getting paid for less. You know what I'm saying? Like really, like some of these people, do they really deserve 1,000 followers for the crap that they do? They review a meal or something.
Oh man, I would, I thought about that. I was out in China and I saw all these mukbangs getting popular all over.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, so you mean to tell me I got to go down to the 7-Eleven down to my apartment and go buy the spiciest ramen. And then people pay attention to me instead of on a stage and talking about that one time I had real bad hot pot.
Well, I mean, that brings us to our first topic, which is China. And it's just like I see here on Erica Switzer on YouTube. It says, comedian Erica Switzer tells it like it is as a black woman teaching, dating, and living in China pre and during the pandemic. And pre-pod, you told me that you were in Shanghai, China during the entirety of the Trump administration. Was that by design?
Let's just say on November 8th, 2016, elected. And I was officially touching down on November 27th.
You're the first person to actually follow through on the threat to leave the country if X person gets elected.
And I did. And I stayed in July of 2020. So
wow. Because before that, there was Barack Obama. Did you like him slightly better?
I mean, I'm in Chicago, so I kind of have to by choice, okay. By residence. But no, he was a cool dude. He came and spoke at my college. Unfortunately, I was gone that day because I was off on have a bender. But I regretted missing out on that great speech.
Can you believe that one of the days you miss on a bender, like Barack Obama comes in and speaks?
And I'm sitting here driving somebody around after they've decided to have 12 PBRs,
Oh, no.
It was rough, but that was my life back then.
And so, yeah, you broke up on Zoom, but whose bender was it? You're saying you were driving around somebody else who was on their PBR bender, or were you drunk yourself?
They were on the PBR bender.
It's good. It's good I clarified that. So you being a kind friend means you miss Barack Obama. Was he president at the time, or was it pre? It was like senator or congressman.
He was a senator at the time, and this book came out. His first. So I missed it.
The audacity of hope, the audacity of helping your friend with a PBR bender.
I had the audacity to go get some ass while I was talking, to our college constituents. I regret.
That's great. And so, yes, tell me about your experience in China. Were you doing comedy over there, first of all?
Yeah, I was. Okay. It's kind of, you don't think of going to the Middle Kingdom when you think of laughs. But before I left, because they make it so hard for you to even get a visa to go over there, you got a PhD. And I was like, well, I got a master's and I'm going to teach them kids, but I'm going to do some other stuff. So I made sure that was on the docket. And I started my stand-up career in Shanghai.
Did you? And so, are they just, they still gobble up the English language comedy?
So we'd always had a bit of a scene in Shanghai. There was a Shanghai Comedy Club, which opened back in the day after Kung Fu Comedy Club opened. And so at that time, a great name, isn't it? There's also in New York. So it was great cutting my teeth there doing open mics, and there was always an international crowd. So there's always people hungry for comedy in English. And then we had a bit of a drought when the pandemic hit. Most of the major clubs had closed up.
Yeah.
Doing pop-up shows, and then there was a drought. And so my buddy over there has just started working with the government bureaus and getting comedy scripts, also known as our sets, passed Cultural Bureau and places that, have power like that. So now they're able to start doing official English shows again.
Are you saying, like, so back in the day, I mean, you were doing open mics and stuff, but did you also have to, like, did you do an actual show, or did it have to get vetted? Did the script have to get vetted just like it does now?
We were doing a whole bunch of stuff without getting scripts ran by folks.
Ooh.
So clear about that we'd always had a comedy scene. Freedom of speech is not something that's favored over in that part of the world. So those kind of things are always looked at as a threat, wherever you can get a gathering of people who may be speaking, especially on a microphone. So we would operate in venues that were kind of safe from those things, or that had some pool. In China, it's all about what you know and who you know for the most part. So we were able to do our thing, but it was just, I didn't start getting hit with the, hey, can you submit a script, until around the last year I was there.
Oh, wow.
We to a new big venue with some interesting elite ownership. And so it was like, yeah, well, I'm not used to it, but I'll give you my script, and I'll give you everybody else who's going to perform scripts, and we're going to perform. So,
and did it pass script?
Yeah, we passed.
Wow.
A lot of times, me and the comics would go a little bit off script, but it would still be enough. Nobody was gonna say anything.
It's not like they have people watching in the audience, right? For the most part.
There was always that. There was always that threat of, if somebody doesn't like a joke that's said, finds offense with it, feels like they're getting picked on, they could make a call and stuff could get shut down. So it was all,
yeah. So it's almost like staying in the owner's good graces too, because he could just lie through his fucking teeth. Like if he's like, I don't know, Erica, she just went off script, I don't know, and really it's because you demanded pay or something.
Well, thankfully they were on our side and they paid, and we did all right over there. And then I had to go, and then we weren't able to do the shows over there anymore. But nevertheless, I still had a show under my flagship brand happen, even like 6 months after I left. So I knew I did something right, and people enjoyed what we were doing and producing. So there's that.
And so how did you, it says it's, when you say it's who you know over there, I'm just like, well, how the hell did Erica Switzer get to know the right people, where you could do the most street hustle thing imaginable, not only kicking it in China with English language comedy, but then doing it in kind of speakeasy like rooms, off the grid rooms, where like you were doing it without submitting your scripts? Like, how did you meet all these people?
Let's just say the fortune favors the brave.
Okay.
Being able to go do comedy over there, getting showcased, featuring, I was able to meet a whole bunch of American comics, UK comics, badass comics that and love.
Yeah.
And I'm here in this position. I'm able to meet these people and do this thing, and I'm just going to keep my journey pushing. Yeah. So, we always had a nice band of comics and producers. So, it wasn't like, the only thing that was ever holding us back was the government, obviously.
Okay. But just, you come back over here, and I mean, our comedy audience is the same. Are they different? Like, is the way you run a show different? I mean, there's no more scripts. So Erica Switzer is now off script. And so if they thought you were saying some cool things on stage before, look at you now. So kind of, has your comedy grown even bolder since you left China?
Absolutely, without question, because I was always there doing my style of comedy. I was always doing Black American comedy. I never really dumbed down my language. Maybe there was one of my favorite jokes that I've just reposted a reel. I teach my kids the word finna.
Okay.
That's my duty as an American English teacher. And there's jokes like that.
Wait, did you say felon?
No.
Oh, yeah, well, that word broke up. Say that word again.
Finna,
Okay.
F-I-N-A.
Finna, Finna.
Yeah.
So who are you teaching finna to?
Teaching finna to my French kids.
Oh, did you say French kids?
Yeah.
Well, why are you teaching French kids?
So the
Yeah,
first
tell me,
couple,
explain, unpack some of this because this is great. So
all right.
finna, why you teach? So over here in America, you teaching French kids?
No, so
Okay.
in China, I was able to teach. Unfortunately, here in the States, I'm missing one significant thing to teach, which would be
Oh,
an Illinois state certificate,
oh gosh.
master's in English literature. And so I was able to teach the first couple of years there. I taught local kids, Chinese kids, Taiwanese, like national kids in an after school program. So they were boosting and enriching their language, and their parents wanted them to have an American accent. So I did that. The second 2 years, I was at the French International School there.
Okay.
So those were straight up French kids that had a good command of English, some a great command of English.
Okay.
And since again, I was teaching them American English, their parents want them to, the Tom Sawyer and
Oh no.
great things. I'm teaching them, but I'm also teaching the word finna.
And
They
so
need
where was the French International School? What country?
the French in Shanghai.
Okay, wow. Okay, this is all new. This is all new to me. This is great. And I was talking to you when I was interviewing a comic, like when COVID was striking. I think she was, I don't know, tutoring kids remotely in Asia, and she was like, "Yeah, it's no joke over there. It's no joke. Like people are masking up and stuff like that." So, what was your experience with COVID over there? I know it shut down comedy, but as far as kind of how they treated it and to the extent that they locked it down.
When they said they locked it down for real, for real.
Yeah.
When it first hit, we had rumblings that something was going on. It was more impactful than just your regular flu, and it wasn't quite pneumonia, but it was something going on, taking folks out. And then we heard about the doctor who was shunned and then later became a martyr after he died from it. And then
Oh no.
telling us, "Hey guys, we're having, we're getting ready to go for a break for Chinese New Year." And one of the administrators says, "Guys, get ready to come back online when we resume classes." So we knew something was up.
Yeah.
And then, during that week, Kobe died, and I had a funeral for my, great aunt who passed away. And then all of a sudden, it's like, "Hey guys, COVID's here."
Oh no.
And I'm
Kobe, oh my gosh, Kobe and then a relative and then COVID, my lord.
and I'm in my room going stir crazy. I'm in a tiny tinderbox Shanghai apartment. When you guys look at videos and movies about Hong Kong apartments and how tiny they are, this is about a tenth bigger than that. So I'm going
Okay.
crazy in there, chain smoking Korean orange flavor window. Like, damn this! I don't care if it's airborne. I got to get out of here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
The ticket prices had gone up exponentially. It cost me $450 to go one way from Chicago to Shanghai nonstop. It was going to cost $3,600 for me to go home.
Oh my
This
gosh.
and I waited. I went stir crazy. I cycled through every emotion every day. Talked to my boyfriend on Messenger. I was like, "Oh baby, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go." And I wound up getting a ticket for $900 one way, still highway robbery,
Yeah.
and went home for from Valentine's Day until a little bit after St. Patrick's Day 2020.
And you didn't think
And
that maybe you should just stay there? Because what, you
I
had a job over in China and you were enjoying stand-up comedy?
I started thinking, man, all them clothes and stuff in there, that's all H&M China anyway. I could let that go if I never had to go back with that. There's nothing else in there. There's some rocks, a Himalayan salt lamp. There's nothing. But, I around St. Patrick's Day, the administration for the school sent another email and said, "Hey, for all of our staff outside of China, you might want to get your ass back over here. They're finna go closing the borders again." So I had
Oh,
to go back, and then I was faced with finishing the last 3 months of school over there, and then I was not necessarily the favorite teacher in the English department, but I was effective. As I said, I have gamify learning to make it more fun for the kids, and so they could really like soak up things. I had kids who were not doing so great on their standardized testing the year before come back this year and knock it out the park in spite of it all. I had other kids excelling, and then they're like, Miss Switzer, so I know this has not been the best year, but here's a 5-year contract extension. And I'm like, oh man, y'all want me for 5 years at this rate? I mean, it was money, man. You know, they don't pay teachers here. Shit, over there.
It's quite a bit of money over there.
We were grading on rooftops at the W with brunch and bubbly flowing. Like, it was a ball. So I was thinking, man, I could do this. But no, I made the decision to go ahead, come here, fall in love, keep doing comedy.
Okay. And then you're like, teaching you can't do because it's, well, at least you don't have the certificate. Does that mean you can teach nowhere at no level?
I could go get an adjunct professor role somewhere at a $50 a course. Oh, but I'm not even trying to go back to the education route yet.
You're like, I'm good. I make as much money in comedy, probably.
I got to make this, look, I got to make this comedy money so I can pay Sally Mae's ass and get her off my ass.
That bitch. Sally Mae's a bitch. Sally Mae, people who don't know, Sally Mae is a student loan servicing company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I went to law school. Let me tell you, I haven't talked to Sally Mae since. I'm not paying that shit back. But and then they had scandals and shit, Sally Mae and all that. It's just like, get your house in order. I'm not going to pay you back until Sally Mae, you get your shit in order. Okay, so as far as like the stuff you're talking about on the stage, like you lived it. Like, so is this what you're bringing to the stage, and how have comedy audiences changed? Like, are they too woke for you? Were the people over there pretty well behaved, and here you're doing more crowd control? How has everything differed in comedy for you between China and America?
There was something that was super easy about doing comedy over there, which is when, people would be like, well, who's coming to see you, Chinese folks? And I'm like, yeah, obviously. So, but any given time, you might have an audience of half locals and 4 guys from the UK out in that corner, 3 girls from Germany right here, a couple of guys from Russia. So what you're doing is trying to speak to the common denominator, obviously, and use, the best English you can to get to the joke. Yeah. And it was fun. It really helped me with, I love doing crowd work over there. That was fun.
Yeah. What was their reaction to being put on the spot? Did they enjoy it?
For the most part, they were pretty good with it. For the most part, I saw some comedy go wrong with certain work over there. But I was like, yeah, he did that. I'm not doing that.
You learn from other comedies' errors, right?
Absolutely. So there, you got the whole thing of don't talk about the 4 T's. And of course, I'm not going to sit there and talk about any of the 4 T's that are forbidden.
And what are the 4 T's for us that don't know?
Tiananmen, Tibet, Taiwan, and I always forget the last one.
She forgets the last one. Oh shit, I forgot the last one. Oh, I mentioned the 4 T's.
It's Tibet or Tank Man, but either way, I'm not talking about that when I'm talking about twerking. I'm not doing, So I loved being able to have that bit of freedom, and then coming here, then it's like, well, I grew up on In Living Color, and there's no way I'm making In Living Color type jokes on this stage. But I'm gonna push it. I'll push the line.
Okay.
So
and what can you push? Like, so you produce shows over here too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what kind of comics are you bringing on stage? And is the common through line, is it just the person has to be funny, or does the person have to push the envelope too?
One of the common through lines for me, you have to be funny, but you have to bring something unique. You have to have a unique voice. So over there in Shanghai, I was fortunate to co-found Blackout Comedy and start up Hey Now Comedy. And it was mostly Black American comedians. It was just us expats that just happened to be there. It happened to be really funny and working these jokes out. So we had a great time in that. And then I was trying to bring that same sense of fun here, because we were bringing Def Jam vibes in the middle of Shanghai where people wouldn't expect it, but the expat crowds and some of the local folks loved what we did. Yeah. So I started to bring that here, and now I bring together lineups which might normally work together. So For example, I had a show, my last show, I had a comic by the name of Teddy Biggums, who's going to headline my show this next Saturday coming up. Teddy's hilarious. He's open for Ballhead Phillips, the local funny guy. He's open for J. Anthony Brown, B. Cole, another funny local guy. But then he's never worked until that night with Ray Wisbrock. Ray Wisbrock is older Anthony Jeselnik. He has he goes in and just, I love seeing the reactions he gets from the crowd. So the two of these men work together for the first time on my show, and they got together really nice, and hopefully they'll be on future shows together. But that's my point. If somebody's got this real cool standout vibe, if somebody's got this real cool style that they do, I like bringing them up.
Yeah, I see Derek J on there. I was talking to him earlier. Are you on his Laughs in Lakeview show?
I have not. You know what? Derek is my guy. He's my road dog. We've done so many shows over the past couple of years together. And he was actually on that show I'm telling you about with Ray and Teddy. But no, I need to get over to Laughs in Lakeview and go show some love.
Yeah, that was my place. Yeah, and he was saying that it was a good show because like it's in Lakeview, of course, so you're gonna have some white people there. And so like if you want to find out if your audience works in front of mixed audience, like that's a good opportunity to do it. But yeah, I saw his face on here, and I also see that you did UG comedy show with Todd Montesie and Chris Griggs. And
yeah,
did you do that in New York, or was that Zoom or something?
I did that up in New York. I was there for Black Women Comedy Laugh Fest, and just happened to be heading up this street with one of my roommates, and I saw Todd, and I'm like, "Hey, Todd!" He's like, "Hey, Erica, want to get on my show?"
I think did you get because I see here, were you on his PN and Friends? Where did you get a IMDb credit? Did you get on his television show, Todd show?
Yep, I was on the PN and Friends episode with Giuliani and the Mooch.
Oh, dude, when he used those, he actually had Giuliani. What was his name? Richard? I forgot. It's a Trump guy, right?
The Mooch. Yes, that's Moochie.
And so what was that play where you could actually pay people to get Giuliani? What's that thing called?
Cameo.
What is it?
Cameo.
Oh yeah, Cameo. I was like, oh my Lord, like you get to have like Chuck Norris on your fucking show and all this. And he's like, yeah, man. It's like, man, we just we never had that when we were growing up. But then on the other hand, it's a little sad to see Giuliani fucking shilling for a couple bucks,
Right.
But if you're gonna be on PN, like that's the only way to do it though. It's to do like, I need this guy in my show, on my actual fictional show. So this will be a funny way to do it. But that's so funny. Like Erica Switzer's performing with all the biggest names. I follow Erica Switzer. I mean, type in Steezy Jefferson, but it's the Erica Switzer. And I'm gonna be retweeting all her funny stuff. I've retweeted some stuff already, but also the link tree, Erica Switzer. So what are the biggest shows you got coming? Like, are you hitting the road? You said he's your road dog. So are you touring all over the Midwest or just everywhere? I mean, because you go back to Shanghai and you've been in New York.
Ooh, I would only go back to Shanghai if a Black female headliner was gonna go through. Or unless they was gonna pay me real nice. Otherwise, I don't have a reason to go back. I got tired of putting on shows and getting paid 50 RMB and warm beer. So
I mean, you get paid as the teacher. They don't pay their comedians that well, huh?
That's what it was.
That's weird, right? They mean, like you get paid as a teacher, like, I'm teaching people how to laugh, right?
Exactly. So then on top of that, I felt like, especially for the last 2 years I was there, I never really paid for drinks. Ever.
Because they always bought you drinks.
It's a good racket.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Well, Erica Switzer, we follow you everywhere. You've been hilarious today. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Brian.